All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about what could seriously be the next giant leap in tech, agentic AI. And look, forget just asking an AI to write a quick email for you. We are talking about something totally different here. Systems that can take on entire goals, create their own plans, and actually get the work done, all by themselves. Okay, let's get into it. You know this feeling, right? It's that classic Monday morning dread. You're trying to juggle campaign data, you're personalizing emails, you're staring at spreadsheets trying to figure out why your ad spend is a black hole. The dream of doing that big picture, creative, strategic work, it feels like it's buried under this mountain of just manual, repetitive tasks. This is exactly where the old way of doing things, traditional automation, just hits a wall. To really get the shift that's happening, this is probably the best analogy. For years, automation has been like a train on a fixed track. I mean, it's super efficient, don't get me wrong, but it can only go where the tracks are laid. It's all, if this happens, then do that. Agentic AI? It's a completely different beast. It's like a self-driving car. You don't give it turn-by-turn directions. You just give it a destination, a goal, and it figures out the rest. It navigates traffic, it chooses the best route in real time, and it even learns from past trips to get better next time. So, to break free from that rigid track-based automation, we needed a totally new approach. And that's where this new player comes in. Let's formally meet the autonomous agent. So what does that really mean? Well, agentic AI goes way beyond just following a list of commands. It's all about understanding outcomes. So instead of telling it how to do something step by step, you just tell it what you want to achieve. For example, you stop saying, send email A, then wait 2 days, then send email B. Instead, you say, nurture this new lead until they're ready for a sales call. The AI then figures out the entire sequence, the best way to make that happen. It's a total game changer. So these agents basically have 4 core superpowers that make them so different. First, they make their own decisions. They don't need you to hold their hand. Second, they adapt on the fly. They see new data coming in and they adjust their strategy right then and there. Third, they learn. They actually get smarter and more efficient with every single task they complete. And maybe the most powerful part, you can build a whole team of them, specialized agents that all work together to tackle really complex projects. Okay, that all sounds pretty amazing in theory, right? But how do these things actually, work? Let's pop the hood for a second and look at the 2 main ways this is happening right now. So on one side, you've got things like AutoGPT. Think of this like a brilliant lone genius, a single agent you give a huge open-ended goal to, like research the future of renewable energy, and it just goes, figuring everything out on its own. Then on the other side, you have frameworks like Crew AI, which is more like building a specialist team. You'd create a researcher agent, an analyst agent, and a writer agent. The researcher finds the data, passes it to the analyst to pull out insights, who then hands it all off to the writer to create the final report. It's a really structured, predictable workflow. And this is really where the rubber meets the road for businesses. See, that lone genius approach of AutoGPT is incredible, but it can also be super unpredictable and, wow, really expensive. Just look at that cost difference. The multi-agent, team-based approach you see with Crew AI is just way more reliable, way more cost-effective, and much more predictable. That much higher success rate and much lower cost, well, that's why it's considered production-ready for real-world business use. Okay, so we know what it is, we know how it works, but does it actually deliver? Let's talk about the results. Let's look at the impact this is already having out in the real world. I mean, this is the big question with any new tech, isn't it? Is this just another buzzword that's going to be everywhere for 6 months and then disappear, or is it creating real, actual, measurable value? I'm just going to let that number sink in for a second. 836%. No, that's not a typo. That is the actual return on investment Grubhub saw when they swapped out a boring one-size-fits-all onboarding process with a dynamic agentic journey that personally guided every single student. So no, this is not hype. This is a massive business impact. And the proof just keeps stacking up. It's not just that one number. Grubhub also saw huge jumps in orders and signups. The delivery service Fedora, they used an intelligent timing agent to figure out the absolute perfect moment to message each customer. The result? A 41% conversion rate, and they slashed their unsubscribes. Companies are creating content almost 50% faster. And in a super complex field like health tech, an agentic system pulled in 28 highly qualified leads in just 6 months. The results are real, and they're huge. Now, with this much power, with this much potential, we absolutely have to talk about the other side of the coin. The risks are just as real as the rewards, and figuring out how to navigate them is, well, it's everything. This quote really just cuts right to the heart of the problem. Our technical skills have been sprinting ahead at full speed, while our ethical rules and frameworks, well, they're still kind of jogging to catch up. And that gap, that's where things can get really tricky. When we unleash agents that can make decisions all on their own, we have this profound responsibility to make sure they're operating fairly and safely. And the research is pretty clear on this. Right now, there are some pretty big blind spots in how these things are being developed. Researchers are flagging a few really big concerns. Things like algorithmic bias that could accidentally shut out entire groups of people, or AI designs that end up reinforcing old, harmful stereotypes. And then there's the whole black box problem. That's where it's almost impossible to figure out why an AI made the decision it did. And if you can't explain it, how can you trust it or fix it when it's wrong? And look, beyond those huge societal concerns, there are some very real practical headaches. An agent can get stuck in a loop, just trying the same failed action over and over and over, and in the process, rack up huge bills. I mean, imagine an agent burning through hundreds of dollars on API calls just because it got confused. Getting these things to behave consistently is a major challenge. And without rock-solid governance, like clear audit trails, it's incredibly risky to just let them loose in a business. So after weighing this incredible potential against these very serious risks, where does that leave us? I think the most helpful way forward is to stop thinking about AI as just a tool and start thinking of it as a new kind of colleague. And this right here is the absolute key. Agentic AI isn't here to take your job. It's here to transform your job. It's all about augmenting the things we humans do best: strategy, creativity, empathy, by letting the AI handle the complex, data-heavy stuff that bogs us down. This really shows the evolution of our jobs. We are moving from being the task doers, the people in the weeds, clicking the buttons, executing every single step, to becoming strategic orchestrators. Our new job is to set the vision, define the goals, put up the guardrails, and then manage our new team of AI agents to get it all done. Honestly, this is the most powerful way to think about it. These aren't just apps on your computer anymore. They are, for all intents and purposes, digital teammates. They're ready to collaborate with you, take on complex assignments, and work alongside you to hit your goals. And so that leaves us with the most important question of all. This new teammate, it's here, it's powerful, it's capable, but it really needs your direction, your strategy, and your leadership. So the question isn't if you're going to work with them. The real question is, how are you going to lead them? Thanks for tuning in.